Autoblogs are blogs that run on autopilot. They're basically self-populating blogs and a rapid way of setting up a network of sites. They're really, really useful for you to use for short-term income. Now, autoblogs are very, very powerful. They're very easy to set up, and if you do them right, you can roll out an auto blog in 5 to 10 minutes. You know, in an hour you could set up 5 or 6 sites easily, perhaps even more, depending on how quick you are with them. So you can really, really do some very, very good things with auto blogs. You do have to be aware that some search engines will consider auto blogs to be spam, but set up properly, and as we're going to talk about in this program, you'll be able to create a network of auto blogs that will last and run well for you. As long as you've got the right tools, an auto blog is easy to do. Without the right tools, you're going to struggle to make money with auto blogs. I mean, you can set them up and you can get them going, but you really, really want to have the right tools. And what we're going to do in this video training program is show you the right tools that you need to set up your auto blog. Now, typically an auto blog is based on WordPress. Now obviously it's free to use, which is one of the big reasons to use it. It's good for SEO. It comes with lots of different plugins. It's very easy to use, and it's basically perfectly designed for auto blogs. Now there are other blogging platforms out there that you could use if you wanted to, but they don't have the same functionality that WordPress does. WordPress is really, really advantageous. And if you have Fantastico, then you can install it with a couple of clicks. Same with Simple Scripts if your web host has that. So WordPress is the platform of choice here. Now the whole aim of the game is that once you set the sites up, they run without your manual input. You don't have to do anything with the sites except set them up and let them going. Once they get going, then you're fine, and your site will run, and it will basically climb up the search engines and run itself pretty much on autopilot. It's a very, very powerful method of earning money, and it's a good way of setting up a good passive income stream. So they're a good additional stream of income, another way for you to earn money. You know, you may have membership sites, other AdSense sites, and so on, but auto blogs are a really, really good way for you to get going and make money. So what are we going to talk about in this program? We're going to start by talking about exactly what auto blogs are. We've had a brief introduction to them, but we're going to go into more detail about what they are and how to use them. We're going to talk about why they're profitable and why they can provide you with an excellent stream of income. They're very, very powerful, very good, so we just want to talk about those. We're going to talk about what to watch out for when you are creating auto blogs as well. Now, there's a number of pitfalls, a number of possible problems. So what we want to do is we want to talk about those and make you aware of the potential issues that you are facing with auto blogs and how you can get around them and create successful auto blogs that sit there and earn money for you and aren't delisted or deleted or otherwise removed. I'm going to show you how to install and configure an auto blog. Now obviously that's not something that perhaps you know how to do, so we're going to show you exactly how to do that. We're going to demonstrate some auto blogging software, so I'm going to show you some of the plugins you can use for WordPress and how they can help you to set up a really, really good looking and powerful auto blog, and ultimately that's what you're after achieving. We're also going to show you a couple of special plugins. These are particularly good plugins and they can be used to help you monetize your blog, so they're very, very powerful, very good. So I'm kind of quite excited to show you those. We're also going to show you some tips for succeeding with auto blogs. Now obviously, as I said, you can set up an auto blog, anyone can set them up, but to do well with them you need some insider information. I mean, you can work it out through trial and failure if you want. That's your prerogative, but in order to really learn how to succeed with auto blogs, you can learn from someone who's been there and done it and made those mistakes. So you can speed up your learning curve by listening to these tips and implementing them on your websites. And of course there's going to be much, much more. Now an auto blog network can make you an awful lot of money. It will run on autopilot, so there's nothing for you to do with it. And of course you can have options, down the line once they're making money. You can always sell them on or anything like that. So there's lots and lots of different choices you can make here with the auto blogs for how you earn from it. Now you can earn from affiliate commissions, you can earn from AdSense commissions, you can earn from any other type of advertising you want. So we're going to go into a lot more detail now. So I want to start going into more detail about what an auto blog is and how they work. So we're going to talk about that in the next video. So let's go into a bit more detail about what auto blogging actually is. Well, auto blogging is about creating a network of self-populating websites. They are websites which automatically add content, generate traffic, rank well, and earn for you. The whole auto bit stands for automatic. It's all about setting everything up on autopilot so it's automatically working for you. So you can see instantly it's a very powerful stream of income. If you can set one of these sites up in between 5 and 15 minutes, and get it running, then obviously you can create a vast number of these sites very, very quickly. And of course, they can make you a good amount of money. If you pick the right keywords and they rank really well, then you can do very, very well with Autoblog. So the aim of the game, they are all completely self-populating, running on autopilot with no manual intervention by yourself. The idea is that you're not turning up every week to add new content or change the advertising, banners, or anything like that at all. The whole point of Autoblogging is that you are setting them up so that you never have to come back and touch them again. You're not fussed about upgrading plugins unless there's a major problem with them. You're not fussed about upgrading WordPress or anything like that. You just want them to stay there and run and earn money for you. So what you do is, using the plugins and the tools that we'll talk about throughout this video course, you can set them up so that they automatically add content at intervals specified by yourself. So you can set it to add just a couple of pieces a day or 10 pieces a day or whatever it might be. But you do need to be aware that you've got to think naturally when you do this. You've got to think about how would a normal website add new content in the real world, if you like. If it was a real blog and not an auto blog, how regularly and how often would content be added? So you do need to consider that. So what I recommend is that you add no more than a few pieces of content a day, 2, 3, 4, maybe 5 at a push. If you can, you want to do it at random times. So you may say, well, I'll do it every 5.5 hours. I'll add a piece of content every 7.5 hours, every 10 hours. You may say, well, I will add new content 3 times a day, whatever it might be. Depends on the plugin you're using as to how you can specify the intervals. And then all you need to do is do some simple traffic generation with them. It shouldn't take too long to do, simply because they're very, very highly targeted websites, so they'll rank fairly well naturally by themselves. So a bit of social bookmarking, a couple of articles, etc, etc, and you should be ranking very, very well. So basically, autoblogging is a quick way of creating a huge network of sites. So if you think about it, and I can, say it takes me 10 minutes to create an autoblog. That means I can create 6 an hour, doesn't it? So, if I work 8 hours a day, 8 6s, what's that? 8, 16, 24, 32, 40, 48. I can create 48 sites a day. So in a week, times that by 5, you're talking 240 sites in a week. So, you can create an awful lot of sites with these. So even if each one just earns even 50 cents a day for you, on average, you're still talking in a week you've created a daily income of $120 a day. So there's a lot of potential with these sites. And of course, once you set up the auto blogs, if you find some that are doing really, really well, there's nothing to stop you turning it into a proper authority site and expanding upon it, or generating more sites within that niche. So the key is to do your keyword research and then make sure you're ranking very, very quickly. If you've got good keywords and you've targeted them properly, then your auto blog will rank surprisingly quickly. So what can you do with these sites? Well, one of the things you can do is you can build the sites to flip. You can set it up as an auto blog, run it for a few months, get it ranking, get it earning, and then you can sell it for 6 to 10 times the earnings. So you can do very, very well. You can turn it from an auto blog into a normal blog, then disable all the auto blogging functions, and leave it running and sell it. If you are selling an auto blog, you do have to make sure that what the permissions you have on any plugins you're using. If you bought any plugins, you may not be able to sell those with the website. You may have to remove them first, or insist that the buyer purchase a license. Now obviously this is a good choice, as you can create the sites and keep them, and you can earn from them regularly. So if you've built your network of 1,000 sites, you can earn from them for as long as you want to, as long as they're ranking and doing well. Or another alternative is, if you remember, how do you cook spaghetti? You cook it and then you throw it against the wall and see if it sticks. And that's one of the analogies we can use here. You basically create hundreds and hundreds of sites, throw it against the wall, see which sticks. You find the ones that are profitable and doing well, and expand into those niches. You may create other sites within those niches, other authority sites. You may create products within those niches and whatever. But it's a good way for you to test out a number of niches very quickly and determine which are going to be profitable. So it doesn't matter whether you're a novice or advanced marketer or anywhere in between. It doesn't matter if you're just setting out on your adventure into internet marketing. You can still use autoblogs. Autoblogs don't require any particular skill. It just requires patience and the ability to do some keyword research and set the sites up. So it's not too difficult to use. Now WordPress is our platform of choice, and it's completely free. I would not recommend doing a manual install because it takes far too much time. I would make sure that your web host has either Simple Scripts or Fantastico, and that you install it from there, simply because it's a lot quicker. Now if you're doing it manually, it could take you quite a while. Do it through Fantastico, it will take you 60 seconds if you type slowly. So it's not going to take you a lot of time to do. So WordPress is the platform of choice because there's so many options available with it. Now we are going to talk about some plugins in this course that are going to cost you some money, but ultimately at the end of the day, and trust me, I've done some research here, they are absolutely the best plugins for auto blogs, and they will make sure that you make decent money from them. You can use some of the free plugins, but they do not give you the flexibility and the functionality that the paid plugins do. The paid plugins will really help you to create fantastically profitable sites very easily. So autoblogs are an easy way to create a network of profitable sites. You can create 50, 100 sites a week, maybe more. So you can see very quickly you can build up a massive amount of autoblogs. And these can earn well for you. You could build up a network of autoblogs in the particular sites, and you can use them to promote your real money sites. You could do that. You could use them as a way to get incoming links through to your sites, a way to really boost your network, other websites. So it's a fantastic level of opportunity here with autoblogs. They're really powerful tools for you to use. And ultimately, you're only limited in what you can do with them with your imagination and the amount of time you're willing to spend messing around with them. So you now know what autoblogs are. You know roughly what they're going to do. You know what you could do with the autoblogs, and now we want to go into a bit more detail about the autoblogs themselves and what to look out for with them and how to start setting them up. Now, autoblogs in the past have got a bit of a bad reputation because they are used in many cases by spammers. What I want to do is just show you some of the possible issues with them and how you can overcome them. Now, you do have to be careful with your autoblogs that they aren't classified as spam sites. If you leave footprints, if you make all the sites identical and you use the same template and they're all just full of useless information, then they aren't going to do well in the search engines. Sooner or later, the search engines will work out that you've created a load of spam sites and it will delist them all. And if that happens and it's your only source of income, basically you're screwed. You've lost everything. And don't think it won't happen. It has happened. Go and search any of the internet marketing forums and you'll hear all sorts of horror stories about how this sort of thing happens. I mean, several years ago there was what is famously known as the Google slap happened. This was, if you remember, it was about 3 or 4 years ago. If you searched for anything in Google, all you got was rubbish sites full of adverts and links to other sites. There was no useful information. Google was basically pointless. You know, you couldn't find anything good in it. And then one morning, internet marketers woke up and found that their network of these, you know, rapidly created sites that are being flung up onto the internet had disappeared. And people literally, and this is 100% serious, people went from, you know, $100,000 a month or, you know, $10,000 a month incomes to zero overnight. Their businesses were destroyed because they're just focused on creating these, you know, mass generated sites, use scrape content, and their businesses were ruined. So whilst autoblogs are good, take steps to make sure they don't get classified as spam sites, and also create other sites as well so that it's not your only stream of income. It's never a good idea in business to have all your eggs in one basket. So you need to take some steps to ensure that they're not classified as spam sites, and that's what this video is about. So when you're creating your site, if you think about your end user, think about their needs, and you create a site that basically gives them some useful information, you're going to do okay. You want to avoid being classified as a spam site because you could get your site delisted from the search engines. If that happens, then you would have to rework the website, put lots of unique content on it, and go crawling to the search engine gurus, the people that run them, and beg them to let your site go back in and that you've changed your ways. It might be a bit of a struggle, but they've got no need to let you back in. They can turn around and go, nope, not interested, and not let you in at all. Or the absolute worst case scenario, and this is one that you've got to hope doesn't happen, is you get blacklisted. And basically when this happens, it means that your domain has become useless and you may as well let it expire. There's no point in having a domain. It's not going to do well, it's never going to get ranked again, and basically the search engines will just ignore anything linking to that domain. So you want to really avoid that fate. So what you have to do is ensure that autoblogs still provide valuable information. So I know that these are going to be scrape sites and going to be taking content from other sites that are rapidly created, but you still have to think about providing valuable information. If you can do that, then obviously that's going to help you a lot. What you need to do is you need to mix up a combination of unique content, PLR content, and content scraped from sites like Amazon, article directories, Yahoo Answers, etc., etc. So you need to mix them all up really to get the best content. Making sure that you've got some unique content on there obviously takes you a step away from the spam site and will help the search engines to realize your site's valuable. My personal preference is to always make sure the homepage is unique at the very least, and that way, you know, people are going to see that it's unique content. The search engines will see that it's unique content, and hopefully, you know, there's not going to be any issues with the site. So if you want to avoid being classed as spam, you need to make sure you don't leave a footprint on all of your sites. Now, a footprint is something that is common to all of your sites, something that makes it very easy for someone to identify the fact that your site is an auto-generated site. So, you know, in the old days, you'd have software that would create a site and it would say at the top in the meta tag, created by this auto creation spamming software, which of course is dead giveaway. So you need to make sure that you don't leave a footprint, and part of what we're going to talk about now is how not to leave any footprints. So by using some unique content, you are avoiding footprints, because of course one of the footprints of a spam site is that it doesn't have any unique content. So just having a little bit of that on your site, that instantly takes you a big step away from spam sites. So a good bit of unique content will help you. One thing you can use is a uniqueifier plugin. Often you have to buy these, and basically these are plugins that fool the search engines into believing that the content on your website is unique. The downside of these is, of course, that the search engine owners are well aware of them, and of course are constantly buying the new versions of the uniqueifier plugins themselves, messing around with them, and then making sure that their search engines go past them. So you have to continually update uniqueifier plugins. You know, you're talking sort of at least once a week, and if you've got 1,000 sites, that's quite a lot of work to update them. So a uniqueifier plugin quickly becomes out of date. It can be useful, but only if it's going to be automatically updated. But again, you can get around that by using some unique content as well. So if you make sure that every page, every website has a unique meta tags, keywords and title, now you're going to have to use an all-in-one SEO plugin or Platinum SEO plugin for this, but you make sure that you have a unique set of meta tags and keywords, then again that's going to help, because a lot of spam sites, they just use the same title on every page, the same meta tags and the same meta keywords. So again, that's going to help you remove yourself from being a spam site. You also need to vary the templates and layouts. A lot of people that create spam sites just use the default WordPress template. So every site, have different layouts, different templates and so on. Again, you don't want to spend too long on them because these are rapidly created sites, but vary the different templates. Another thing that you can do is don't host too many auto blogs on a single hosting account. If you look at sort of 7 to 10, maybe slightly more at the tops, then again that's not going to give the game away. If Google comes along and they sort of look at your IP address and they see that there's 800 auto blogs on that one IP address, and the 800 blogs on that one IP address, and they all look very similar, that's going to give away a little about the whole it's an auto blog. So you can create multiple hosting accounts, just the one cheap ones, and create a number of auto blogs on there. You can of course use the same hosting to create a number of your other websites as well. And you want to switch hosting and IP addresses, so you have different hosts. You can buy IP addresses for a couple of dollars a month from a lot of places, so you can use different IP addresses, and that's really going to help you to vary the way your sites look. Do sort of up to about 10 per IP address, and again your sites are going to look different. They're not going to look like they are spam sites. So these are some techniques for avoiding being classed as spam. Now later on, towards the end of this video series, we're going to talk about how some tips for success with auto blogs, but I want you to take this into account, what we just talked about, as we go through creating the auto blogs and you start creating yours. Avoid leaving a footprint. Don't just use scrape content. Use some unique content. Use unique meta tags and keywords. Vary the templates, and don't host too many auto blogs on a single IP address or hosting account. And all that is going to help you to step away from spam, and it's going to mean that your site isn't going to run the risk of being classed as spam, and it will have a much longer life. Remember, you don't want to create an auto blog, get it earning, and then sort of a week later find that it's being delisted. You want to build these up so that they have a reasonably long shelf life. And obviously that's going to be much better for you and for your income. So you may want to write some of these techniques down that we just talked about, these tips, but keep them in mind when you're creating the sites. They're very important, and they're going to make sure that your auto blogs do much better than perhaps auto blogs created by other people. Yes, it may take you a few minutes longer to do these, but you're going to have the benefit of longer living sites, and that's ultimately going to create you a much better income.